Night in a jungle, a young bunny creeps through the undergrowth as young Judy Hopps describes the primeval living conditions. The bunny is attacked by a jaguar. We find we are watching an amateur stage play by children inside a barn. She tells the audience that thousands of years ago, the world was ruled by bloodlust and fear, where predators hunted prey. But then, the animals evolved, moving beyond their primitive ways. Now predators and prey live in harmony. Her parents, Stu and Bonnie, are also watching her play. Judy declares that in this new world, anyone can be anything, and she is going to be a police officer. Just then, a fox named Gideon Gray laughs from the audience, calling her dream the stupidest thing he's ever heard. But Judy doesn't care about small-minded people. She has her eyes set on the great city of Zootopia. Later, Judy and her parents, Stu and Bonnie, leave the theater barn and walk out into the Carrot Days festival. They try to convince her that the secret to happiness is giving up on your dreams and settling. Her father tells her, "If you don't try anything new, you'll never fail." They want her to be a carrot farmer like the rest of the family, but Judy refuses to play it safe. She tells them, "I guess I'll have to be the first bunny cop." Suddenly, Judy spots Gideon Gray bullying her friends. Gideon steals their tickets and threatens them. Judy steps in bravely, telling him to return the tickets. Gideon mocks her, saying a bunny could never be a cop. He knocks her down and scratches her face with his claws, growling that she'll never be anything more than a stupid carrot farming, dumb bunny. Gideon leaves thinking he won, but just then, the children go to Judy and she returns the tickets she pickpocketed from Gideon. They praise her and say Gideon doesn't know what he's talking about. Judy says he was right about one thing. She doesn't know when to quit. Years pass. Judy, now an adult, finally enters the Zootopia Police Academy. It's a total disaster at first. She is the smallest one there, surrounded by massive rhinos and tigers. During training, her instructor screams, "You're dead, Bunny Bumpkin," as she fails in the scorching sandstorms, freezing ice walls, and the boxing ring. But Judy doesn't give up. She trains harder, using her speed to outsmart the giants. Her drill instructor is impressed. Eventually, she graduates as valedictorian of her class. Mayor Lionheart officially assigns her to Precinct 1 in the heart of Zootopia. Assistant Mayor Bellwether, a sheep, congratulates her and pins on her police badge. It's a proud day for us little guys. The day finally arrives for Judy to leave. At the train station, her parents are a proud scared combo. They give her a care package full of fox repellent and even a fox taser. As the Zootopia Express pulls away, Judy watches her hometown of Bunnyboro disappear. She puts on her headphones and listens to gazelles try everything as the train travels through incredible biomes like Sahara Square and Tundra Town. When she finally sees the Zootopia skyline, her eyes fill with wonder. This is the place where anyone can be anything. However, reality hits hard when she reaches her new home, the Grand Pangolin Arms. It's a tiny, greasy apartment with paper-thin walls. Her neighbors immediately start screaming at each other to shut up. Judy tries to stay positive, jumping onto her rickety bed and telling herself, "I love it." The next morning, Judy arrives at Precinct 1. She meets a cheerful cheetah named Clawhauser, who calls her cute. Judy explains that a bunny can call another bunny cute, but when other animals do it, it's a little sensitive. Soon, she enters the bullpen for the morning briefing. The room is filled with massive officers who treat her like she's invisible. Chief Bogo enters and announces that there are 14 missing mammal cases. He assigns everyone to high-stakes missions, but when he gets to Judy, he gives her parsing duty. Judy is heartbroken, but she tells the chief she can handle more. Bogo doesn't care. He tells her, writing 100 tickets a day should be easy. Judy accepts the challenge, but she vows to write 200 tickets instead before noon. Meanwhile, Judy starts her first day as a meter maid. She is lightning fast, writing tickets for every expired meter she sees. She even tickets her own meter. Just as she hits her 201st ticket, she spots a suspicious-looking fox named Nick Wilde. He's skulking around, and Judy's bunny senses go off. She follows him into an elephant's ice cream parlor. Inside, she sees the owner, Jerry, refusing to serve Nick. Jerry growls, "Hit the road, fox." Nick claims he just wants to buy a jumbo pop for his son's birthday. Judy notices Nick's son is dressed in a cute little elephant costume, looking heartbroken. Sensing an injustice, Judy steps in. She identifies herself as an officer and points out several health code violations in the kitchen, like an elephant scooping ice cream with an ungloved trunk. To avoid a fine, Jerry agrees to sell the popsicle, but Nick realizes he doesn't have his wallet. Feeling bad for him, Judy pays for the ice cream herself. Nick is incredibly grateful, telling Judy she's a real articulate fella and a great cop. Judy feels amazing, thinking she's finally made a difference and found a friend in the big city. But as she watches Nick walk away, she has no idea that she's just been played by this clever fox. Back in the heart of Zootopia, our bunny hero Judy Hopps is determined to be the best meter maid the city has ever seen. She's lightning fast, writing hundreds of tickets in Sahara Square. Just then, she spots her new friend Nick Wilde and his son. But as she watches from the shadows, her smile fades. She realizes Nick isn't a loving father. He's a master con artist. Judy watches in disbelief as Nick and his partner, a small fox named Finnick, melt down the giant Jumbo Pop on a roof. They use the juice to create hundreds of tiny popsicles in the snow. They sell these to a group of lemming businessmen, and then, get this, they sell the leftover sticks as redwood lumber to construction mice. Judy is furious. She confronts Nick and tries to arrest him for false advertising. But Nick is way ahead of her. He pulls out every permit and receipt, smirking as he tells her, "It's called a hustle, sweetheart." He mocks her badge, telling her she'll never be a real cop and that she'll eventually go back home with her tail between her legs. Adding insult to injury, he points out she's unaware she's standing in wet cement, then leaves. Judy returns home defeated. That night, Judy is at her lowest point. She eats a sad, microwavable carrot for one dinner. Her parents call and she tries to put on a positive face. They notice her meter maid jacket, they're relieved she's not a real cop, and she's doing something safe. They literally cheer. Her dad yells, "Glorious day, our prayers have been answered." Judy bids them good night. Then the loud neighbors next door, who heard everything through the paper-thin walls, tell her to turn down the depressing music. She whispers to herself, "Tomorrow's another day," and the neighbor replies, "Yeah, but it might be worse." Judy feels like a total failure, but she refuses to quit. The next day begins with Judy facing the ire of those who received her tickets. "My mommy says she wishes you were dead." Then, a frantic shop owner reports a robbery. Suddenly stoked to be a real cop, Judy sheds her meter maid jacket and pursues the thief. The chase continues into Little Rodentia, where she saves a lady shrew about to be crushed by a giant donut the thief kicked down the street. She uses the donut to body cuff the thief and returns him to Police HQ. The donut-restrained thief rolls into Police HQ and stops in front of Clawhauser's desk. Judy pronounces the thief caught, "I popped the weasel," but Bogo calls her to his office furious. Bogo reads Judy the riot act, then adds sarcastically, "But to be fair, you did stop a master criminal from stealing 24 moldy onions." Mrs. Otterton barges in on their meeting to plead for help finding her missing husband. Emmett has been missing for 10 days. Bogo claims his detectives are very busy, but Judy can't stand to see the poor otter cry. She steps forward and declares, "I will find him." Bogo is livid. He pulls Judy into his office and fires her for insubordination. But just then, Assistant Mayor Bellwether walks in. She's already told Mayor Lionheart that Judy is on the case. Trapped, Bogo gives Judy a brutal ultimatum. She has 48 hours to find Emmett Otterton, or she resigns from the force forever. Judy takes the tiny case file and realizes she only has one lead. A photo shows Emmett eating a popsicle and Nick's tail disappearing around a corner. She realizes Nick Wilde is the only person who can help her. She finds Nick pushing a baby stroller and requests his help, but he refuses, mocking her. Judy tricks him into confessing that he makes $200 a day but has never paid taxes. She records the whole thing on her carrot-shaped voice recorder and threatens him with felony tax evasion. Nick has no choice. If he wants the pen back, he has to help her solve the case. Finnick climbs from the stroller and leaves with a laugh. "Have fun working with the fuzz." Nick reluctantly agrees to help in return for the pen. Nick leads Judy to the Mystic Spring Oasis, which turns out to be a naturalist club. Naked animals are everywhere. Although uncomfortable, Judy refuses to give in. They interrogate Emmett's yoga instructor, Nangi, an elephant who remembers nothing, but Yax, the proprietor, remembers him in great detail. Back on the street, Nick asks for the pen, but Judy can't run a plate. Still blackmailing Nick for help, she promises to give him the pen in 36 hours if he continues to help. Reluctantly, Nick offers that he knows someone at the DMV. Nick tells her that a limo took Otterton to Tundratown, but they need to run the license plate. He takes her to the DMV, the Department of Mammal Vehicles. Judy is in a hurry, but Nick warns her. Flash is the fastest guy in there. However, when Judy steps inside, she freezes. The DMV is run entirely by sloths. The pace is agonizingly slow. Flash takes minutes just to say hello. Judy is losing her mind because every second counts. To make matters worse, Nick tells Flash a joke about a three-humped camel. Flash starts laughing in slow motion, even calling over his co-worker, Priscilla, to hear the punchline, "Pregnant." By the time they finally get the license plate info, it's already nightfall. After wasting an entire day at the DMV, Judy and Nick finally have their first real lead. The license plate is registered to the Tundra Town Limo service, but by the time they reach the lot, it's already dark. The gate is locked tight, and Nick thinks the investigation is over. He smirks, telling Judy, "I'll bet you don't have a warrant to get in." Judy realizes Nick intentionally wasted time watching her fail. She asks him if seeing her struggle makes him feel better about his own sad, miserable life. Nick's answer is a chilling 100%. But Judy isn't a dumb bunny for nothing. She tosses her carrot pen over the fence, and when Nick jumps over to grab it, she tells him he's now a shifty lowlife trespassing on private property, and as an officer, she now has probable cause to enter without a warrant. Nick realizes he's just been out-hustled. Inside, they find the white limo, and the interior is a mess. There are massive claw marks on the seats and polar bear fur everywhere. Just then, Nick finds a fancy glass cup with a bee on it and turns pale. He realizes this limo belongs to the most feared crime boss in Tundra Town. Mr. Big Nick is terrified because Mr. Big does not like him. He tries to run, but suddenly, two massive polar bears arrive and snatch them up. They are taken to a snowy mansion and brought before the boss. Judy expects a giant monster, but instead out comes a tiny shrew in a tuxedo. This is Mr. Big. Nick tries to talk his way out of it, but Mr. Big is furious. He reveals that he welcomed Nick into his home, only for Nick to repay him by selling him a skunk butt rug. He looks at Judy and Nick and gives the order, "Ice him." The polar bears are about to drop them into a pit of freezing water when a young shrew in a wedding dress bursts in. It's Frou Frou, Mr. Big's daughter. She recognizes Judy as the hero who saved her from the giant falling donut earlier. Because of Judy's kindness, Mr. Big spares them. Over a tiny dinner, he tells them that Emmett Otterton was his florist and was coming to discuss something important, but during the ride, Otterton suddenly went savage, attacked the driver, and disappeared into the night. Both Nick and Judy are surprised that an otter could act so aggressively. He gives them directions to the Rainforest District to interview the driver, Mr. Manchus. To find out what happened, Judy and Nick head to the Rainforest District, crossing a high suspension bridge in the pouring rain. They find Manchus's house, but he's terrified. He tells them the wolves are the night howlers. Before he can explain, he suddenly lets out a roar. His eyes are glowing, and he goes completely savage and attacks them. A brutal chase breaks out. Manchus hunts them through the trees and across the bridge. Judy manages to call for backup. Clawhauser shows off an app to a perp that makes it appear he's dancing with Superstar Gazelle. He finally answers Judy's frantic call. Judy reports their location, then loses her radio. As they fall off the bridge, narrowly escaping by swinging on a vine, she saves Nick by handcuffing Manchus to a light pole, but they are forced off the high bridge. Judy grabs a vine with one hand, holds Nick with the other, and swings them both into a net of vines. Safe for the moment, Nick is stunned that Judy would save his life. When Chief Bogo and the ZPD arrive, Manchus has mysteriously vanished. Bogo doesn't believe Judy and tells her, "This isn't the Stone Age, Hopps. Animals don't go savage." He demands her badge, saying she struck out. But then the unexpected happens. Nick Wilde steps forward and defends her. He tells Bogo that Judy is a great cop and that they still have 10 hours left on their deal. As they leave on a Skytram, the tension between them finally breaks. Nick tells Judy that when he was a kid, all he wanted was to be a Junior Ranger Scout, but the other kids muzzled him and bullied him just because he was a predator. That day, he learned two things. Never let anyone see they got to you, and if the world only sees a fox as shifty and untrustworthy, there's no point in being anything else. Judy comforts him, and they decide to finish the case together. Since Bogo won't help, Judy visits her friend, Assistant Mayor Bellwether, at City Hall. Bellwether is excited to support the little guys and allow them access to the city's traffic camera database. Nick can't resist petting her wool, whispering, "So fluffy." They track the limo and see that Manchus didn't vanish. He was taken away by a group of wolves. They follow the wolves all the way to a high-security facility called Cliffside. It's a hidden lab guarded by timber wolves. Judy and Nick realize the mystery is way bigger than one missing otter. But what are the wolves hiding inside, and what exactly are night howlers? With Nick's geographic knowledge, they trace the van to an asylum outside of town. Judy comments on how good Nick's research abilities are and suggests he'd make a good cop. Nick is insulted. At the asylum, the entrance is guarded by wolves. When Nick is almost discovered by a wolf guard, Judy howls, which starts all the wolves howling. Making use of the distraction, they sneak inside the asylum. Nick admires Judy's quick thinking. Inside, Judy and Nick discover a medical facility where all of the missing savage predators are caged, including Manchus and Otterton. What they find inside is chilling. All 14 missing mammals are being held in high-tech cages, but they've all gone completely savage. Just then, a door opens and they hide. It's Mayor Lionheart, along with a medical doctor. He's not there to rescue them, he's the one keeping them locked up. Judy and Nick hide in an open cage just in time to avoid discovery. He screams at a doctor, "I want answers." The doctor explains that only predators are turning savage, and they don't know why. Lionheart is terrified. He knows that if the public finds out their mayor is a lion and predators are becoming monsters, he'll be ruined. He growls, "Chief Bogo doesn't know, and we are going to keep it that way." Judy records the conversation between Lionheart and the doctor using her mobile phone, but suddenly, Judy's phone rings. It's her parents calling at the worst possible moment. Lionheart and the doctor panic and leave. The alarm blares and security sweeps the area. With nowhere to run, Judy and Nick do the unthinkable. They flush themselves through the toilet to escape the facility. They end up in the river. Judy wants to get the evidence back to Chief Bogo. At Police HQ, Chief Bogo enjoys watching himself dance with Gazelle on the app when Clawhauser bursts in and announces that Hopps has found all the missing mammals. Moments later, the ZPD raids the lab. Mayor Lionheart is arrested in front of everyone, insisting he was only trying to protect the city. At a news conference, Chief Bogo announces the missing mammals case has been solved. Off to the side, Nick gives Judy a lesson about how to handle a news conference. Thankful for Nick's help, Judy offers Nick a chance to change his life by applying to become a police officer. She then hands him her carrot recording pen. In case you need something to write with, Nick is free. Judy is hailed as a national hero. Chief Bogo is finally impressed and lets her lead the press conference. Nick is in the audience, smiling and holding an application to join the force. But when the reporters ask why the animals went savage, Judy panics. She tells the world it may have something to do with biology, something in their DNA. She claims predators are reverting back to their primitive, savage ways. Nick's smile vanishes. He realizes that deep down, Judy is still afraid of him. He confronts her afterward, showing her his claws and snapping, "Do you think I might go savage? You think I might try to eat you?" When he sees Judy's hand instinctively reach for her fox repellent, his heart breaks. He tells her, "Probably best if you don't have a predator as a partner," and walks out of her life. Judy tries to stop him, but is cut off by the press corps. Her answers to their questions only make the situation worse. A newscast reports more attacks and notes that they have happened since Judy's press conference. Scenes of Judy trying to keep belligerent protesters apart. Singer Gazelle pleads for an end to the violence and distrust. "Give me back the Zootopia I love." Judy looks on helplessly as Mrs. Otterton watches her savage husband, who is oblivious to her, in a safe room at the hospital. The city spirals into chaos. Fear takes over and predators are bullied and fired from their jobs. One day, Chief Bogo calls Judy to a meeting with the newly appointed Mayor Bellwether. On the way, she learns that even the friendly Clawhauser is moved to the basement records room because the ZPD doesn't want a predator face at the front desk. In the meeting, Bogo and Bellwether try to convince Judy to become a media hero, the public face of ZPD, but Judy feels she has failed because of her comments at the news conference. Tensions between predators and prey have increased. Crushed by guilt, Judy realizes she hasn't made the world better. She's broken it. She turns in her badge and heads back home to Bunnyborough to work on the family farm. But the story doesn't end there. One day, Judy meets a reformed Gideon Gray, the fox who bullied her as a kid. He's now a peaceful pastry chef and gives her a sincere apology. While they talk, Judy's parents mention a type of flower that makes their crops go crazy, a flower they call night howlers. Judy freezes. She realizes Monchus wasn't talking about wolves. He was talking about toxic flowers. Filled with a new sense of purpose, she takes the family truck and races back to Zootopia. Judy locates Finnick and asks for his help in finding Nick. She finds Nick sitting under a bridge and delivers a tearful apology, calling herself a dumb bunny and begging for his help. Nick, being the big-hearted fox he is, records her apology on her carrot pen just to tease her, and the two are finally a team again. They set out to find the weasel Judy had originally captured using the giant donut. Nick comments on the taste of the blueberries he finds in the truck. Judy and Nick find Duke Weaselton, but he won't reveal who he was selling the night howlers, moldy onions, to, and with a little help from Mr. Big threatens to ice Duke. Duke breaks down and tells Judy and Nick he sold the night howlers to a ram named Doug who has an underground lab. Judy and Nick find the subway car being used as a drug lab. They break in, see the flowers, and watch Doug prepare the serum. They overhear Doug on a call about another hit. They see pictures of the revered predators, including Otterton and Manchus. Doug mentions in the call how he hit Otterton in a moving car. Judy and Nick manage to steal the train car full of evidence, but they are spotted. A high-speed chase erupts through the dark tunnels. Rams are leaping onto the train, trying to stop them. Judy fights them off bravely, but the train loses control and crashes in a massive explosion. They survive the wreck, but it looks like all the evidence is lost in the fire. But as the smoke clears, Nick reveals he managed to save the briefcase containing the serum gun and the pellets. They aren't giving up yet. They sprint through the Natural History Museum, desperate to reach the ZPD. But suddenly, they are cornered. Assistant Mayor Bellwether appears from the shadows, and Judy realizes the horrifying truth. Bellwether isn't their ally. She's the mastermind. She has been turning predators savage on purpose to make the prey population live in fear. She sneers at Judy. Think of it, 90% of the population united against a common enemy. We'll be unstoppable. Bellwether orders her ram thugs to ice him, and a brutal struggle begins. Judy is injured, her leg trapped, and they have nowhere left to run. She tells Nick to take the gun to the police, but Nick won't leave her. He takes out his handkerchief to bandage her leg, spilling blueberries on the floor. As they try to make their escape, a ram policeman pushes them into a below-floor-level diorama. Nick loses the gun. Thinking she has already won, Bellwether grabs the serum gun and shoots Nick right in the neck. Judy screams as Nick's eyes glow, and he becomes savage. He begins to growl, baring his teeth as he stalks toward Judy. Bellwether laughs, already calling the ZPD to report a hero cop killed by a savage fox. But just as Nick is about to bite, he suddenly stops. He looks at Bellwether and says with a smirk, "Blood, blood, and death." It was all an act. Judy reveals they switched the toxic serum pellets for blueberries from her family's farm. To make matters worse for the villain, Judy holds up her carrot pen. She recorded Bellwether's entire confession. Just as Bellwether tries to escape, Chief Bogo and the ZPD burst in. The fluffy mastermind is arrested, and the city finally knows the truth. A news report covers the arrest of Mayor Bellwether. It also says that an antidote for the night howler's toxin seems to be successful. Months later, Zootopia is a different place. Mayor Lionheart is still in prison, but the savage mammals have all been cured with an antidote. We see a beautiful reunion as Emmett Otterton recovers and finally hugs his wife. Judy is back on the force, but she isn't alone anymore. She stands at the police academy graduation, giving an emotional speech about how real life is messy and we all have limitations, but we have to try everything to make the world better. As she continues, we discover this is a graduation ceremony speech at the police academy at which Nick is inducted into the police force. In the police bullpen, Chief Bogo recognizes the presence of Nick the Fox as a new cadet. After handing out all the other assignments, he assigns Judy and Nick to parking duty as a prank. After a moment, he gives them their real assignment: find a street racer in Savannah Central and shut him down. On the streets of Savannah Central, Judy and Nick catch the street racer festooned with the license plate FST-NML. When they confront the driver, it turns out to be Flash, the sloth from the DMV. The story ends with the entire city celebrating at a massive Gazelle concert, proving that when we look past our differences, anyone truly can be anything. Zootopia is a story about how fear can divide us, but courage and friendship will always bring us back together. If you love this journey from a meter maid to a hero, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more movie summaries. We'll see you in the next Zootopia 2.